Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. You gotta hold him down, he told me to. Hold him on the ground, he said.
David, Mommy's here. Mommy's here. Come on, wake up. Come on, get up. Come on, let's go. Get out of it. Get out of my son. Get out of my son. Come on. Come on, son. Son, get up. Get away from my son. No! I'm your mother. David, wake up. Get up.
On February 16, 1981, Alan Bono was stabbed more than 20 times with a pocket knife by 19-year-old Arne Johnson in Brookline, Connecticut. What was the motive? Demonic possession. These were the real-life events that inspired the Conjuring movie The Devil Made Me Do It. Before we get into today's story, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you are watching, I appreciate you. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss my videos. If you want, I always do true crime videos that occur the same week in history. So yeah, if you could, that would help me out to subscribe. You don't have to if you don't want to, but just putting that out there. I do also have a little bit of a surprise, a treat for you guys watching. Come here, Jack. He's so heavy. This is my little guppy. This is my guppy, Jack. Do you have anything you would like to say, Jack? He's a little shy. He's a little camera shy. He looks stunned. It's okay, buddy. Yeah? I tried to get that in the mic. Alright, go to your bed, Jack. That was Jack. That's your treat. So yeah, just sit back, relax. We got a lot to talk about today. Grab your Starbucks. Comment your favorite Starbucks order if you want. I would love to know. This is the new blackberry refresher. Anyway, let's backtrack a little bit. Let's talk about Arne Johnson. So Arne Johnson, he's the killer in this story. If you've seen The Conjuring 3, I think it's the third one. I think it came out in like 2021. I saw it in theaters. It's really spooky that this was a true story. Arne was the main character in the movie and the real life killer in today's story, who was possessed by a demon and claimed that the devil made him do it. Arne Cheyenne Johnson was born January 21st, 1962 in Bridgeport, Connecticut. He was an Aquarius, and there was not much known about his early life, but the murder did happen when he was pretty young. He was only 19 years old. Early 1981, he was just 19 years old and he was engaged to Debbie Glatzel. They were living in his mother's house that year, and they had just saved enough up to move out and have a place of their own. Arne actually dropped out of high school and went straight into the workforce. He was a landscaper and he worked for a tree service company. He loved fishing, sports, and he was described as an all-American boy. Alan Bono was the victim in this story. Alan Bono was born February 21st, 1940 in New York City. He was a Pisces. What's sad is that Alan died just a few days before his 41st birthday, so Alan was still 40 when he died. Alan was the manager of Brookfield Boarding Kennels in Brookfield, Connecticut, where Debbie, Arne's fiance, actually worked. So he was their landlord, and he gave Debbie a job at the kennel. He was sort of a traveler. He only lived in Connecticut 3 months before he passed away. He lived in Australia, Florida, and at the time, Connecticut. On the day of the murder, Arne called out sick to work and hung out with his sister Debbie and Debbie's cousin. They went to visit Debbie at her workplace, which was the kennel that Alan was the manager of, and Bono decided to take the gang out to lunch. He was friendly with all of them. They were all spending the day together, so he decided to take them all and have lunch together. I mean, very nice gesture, which unfortunately got him killed. But they all went out to lunch together. It's so heartbreaking to even say, like, he was just trying to be nice, and that's what happened. But the men shared drinks, and the women ate lunch. Debbie's little cousin was there, and the girls ended up leaving with the little cousin when the boys started drinking too much. They didn't want the child to see that, because no one wants to be around drunk people, especially not to have your child there. Upon their return, they saw that a fight actually broke out between Alan and Arne. Allegedly, it was over Debbie. Allegedly, I don't know what it could have been about. That's what it allegedly was about. During the fight, Arne began being aggressive, and Alan grabbed Debbie's little cousin and refused to let her go, probably to try and calm Arne down. Like, usually when you bring a child into I mean, I'm not saying it's right, he shouldn't have grabbed the child, but usually when you bring a child into something, like, it kind of makes people snap out a little bit. Usually women and children, it makes them, like, snap out of whatever they're going through. But it did not calm Arne down. He actually began, it was described, growling like an animal. And he pulled out his pocket knife and he dashed over to Alan and he stabbed him repeatedly. Alan suffered from 4 to 5 wounds to the chest, one stretched from his chest to his heart. He was rushed to the hospital, but sadly he passed away. Upon Arne's arrest, he said, "The devil made me do it." If you're like me, you're probably at first like, huh? You're in a bar fight, you're drunk, like, things get aggressive, like, people get hurt at bars, like, the devil, what are you talking about? Like, you're probably just in a fight arguing about money, he was your landlord, or allegedly your fiance, which makes people want to fight even more. Like, it seems like enough motive. Like, why, if it was the devil, why would the devil choose, like, such a specific time where it seems like you would have had a motive? It just seemed a little bit weird to me at first until I learned the backstory. So I just wanted to present you with what happened first, and then we'll go into the backstory of the whole possession and everything. So in order to understand what happened to Arne and his possession, we have to understand first what happened to Debbie's younger brother, David. During the summer of 1980, Debbie's little brother, David, was constantly complaining about an old man haunting him. David was only 11 years old at the time. The complaints became more frequent as time went on and more violent. Everybody saw how much David was in pain and visibly suffering from this strange old man that no one besides David actually saw. He was describing visions of a man with big black eyes, a thin face with animal features and jagged teeth, pointed ears, horns, and hooves. They reached out to the church, who couldn't help them, but they connected them with Ed and Lorraine Warren. So if you've ever seen any of the Conjuring movies, Ed and Lorraine Warren were actually real people. This was all based on true events, especially this particular movie. So Ed and Lorraine Warren were the real life people that were portrayed in these movies. In case you never saw the movies or never heard of them, they were paranormal investigators and demonologists. They were also professors and authors. They lived in Connecticut as well, so it makes sense why the church would have recommended them when the exorcisms that they were doing were not working.
11-year-old boy would become extremely strong. I seen nights when it would take 4 and 5 men to hold him down. He would be ranting and raving and yelling. There was times when he would attack his mother. Now this boy loved his mother. He loved his father. And at one time he actually broke the mother's nose, I believe.
It was said that David would kick, bite, spit, swear terrible words when he was in his possession. He experienced strangling, so it was invisible hands, but it looked like he was being strangled. I'm trying to demonstrate it for you. He was acting like he was being strangled, but there was nothing there. Obviously, ghosts are invisible. for the most part. So he was just flopping around, and it said he almost got moved around like he was a rag doll from this demon. He would have terrible night terrors that began to seep into during the day, not just night. So it was night terrors while he was still awake. After this new set of events emerged, the family also started hearing strange noises themselves coming from the attic. The possession was starting to become real, not only for David, but for everyone in the family. They were visibly seeing signs of this demon. As time went on, it got worse and worse. David started having seizures, he was hissing, he was speaking in strange voices, which is like the clip that I played for you in the beginning. That's not from the movie, that is actually a real clip of David while he had one of the exorcisms done to him. He was also just like saying really detailed, like random quotes from literature that an 11-year-old boy would not know on his own. The Warrens were certain that this was a case of demonic possession, but when he was taken to psychiatrists, they just said it was a learning disability. Insert that picture of that meme of the dachshund going. Learning disability, like, I don't know about you, but learning disabilities do not make you hiss and start quoting famous scriptures and stuff that an 11-year-old boy would not know. So that was kind of weird, like, come on, what the heck. So they started doing routine exorcisms on poor David. He levitated, cursed, and even stopped breathing at one point. The demon also predicted that the later murder of Alan would take place at the hands of Arne. By October 1980, frustrated, Arne yelled to the demon and said, "Take me on, leave my little buddy alone."
But he made a fatal mistake. One night he said, and he screamed at these devils, "Take me on, leave my little buddy alone." He got his wish.
He challenged the demonic.
So Arne went investigating on his own and went to that well that David said was the first time he saw this old man demon. So he went to the well himself when the Warren specifically told him not to do that. And he said it was then that he actually saw the demon himself as well, and that was the specific moment he felt being possessed. The Warrens didn't think any of this was a good idea. The Warrens didn't think yelling at the demon to take him on was a good idea, but Arne was just so sick and tired of seeing David suffer that he would rather suffer than him. And then Arne began having similar experiences as David. He would put his fist through dressers with no explanation, and he'd fall 100 feet with no injury at all. He also drove his car straight into a tree, saying that the demon possessed him to do so. Around this time, the Warrens phoned the police, warning them that Arne might do something dangerous because of this demonic possession. After he called the police and told them and warned them about this, the murder of Alan happened only a few days later, which is so creepy. After the murder, Arne fled into the woods, but was caught. He said that he blacked out at the time of the stabbing, and witnesses claimed that it didn't look like Arne, it didn't look like a 19-year-old boy, it looked like a beast took control of his body during the stabbing, and it wasn't Arne at all. This was the first time in American history that the defense used not guilty due to demonic possession as a plea. Throughout the trial, Ed and Lorraine testified, members of the church, they all testified, speaking about the demonic possession. They played those tapes in court, and they just told them about the various exorcisms they did and all that. And successfully, Arne was found not guilty first-degree murder, but only of manslaughter, which was a great victory. He was sentenced only 10 to 20 years, but he only served 5 years for good behavior. So not only was that the first time the defense was used in history, but they secured a win with that defense. Arne and Debbie did getting married, I think, while he was still in prison, and they stayed married up until Debbie's death in 2021. She died from some type of cancer. Weird fact is that in 2007, David Glatzel and his brother Carl sued the Warrens over their book that they made, The Devil in Connecticut, saying that it was just profiting off of their emotional distress, and David felt that they just oversimplified his trauma in the book. And Carl claimed that he was portrayed to be a demon just because he said, a villain, not a demon, because he said that he didn't necessarily believe in demons. The case was dismissed, but the book was taken out of publication. So no more copies were printed after that. Now, currently in 2025, both of the Warrens are passed away, sadly. They do have one daughter, Judy, who allegedly does not want to get involved in anything supernatural, even though she claims to have psychic abilities. Would love to know what you guys think. Should he have served more time? Was manslaughter fair? Instead of murder? Do you actually believe that he was possessed to begin with? Do you believe that David was possessed? Do you believe in ghosts at all? I mean, this story was very scary in a completely different way than the other videos I've done, because yeah, it was scary in a demonic spiritual way, but it did end up manifesting through a real life murder. So it's crazy. It's like true crime meets horror movies in this video, but it was sadly a real life event, and somebody did lose their life that day, and rest in peace to Alan. It's so scary. Like, imagine being in that bar, seeing that. I'm sure whoever saw that, they believe in demons, because everyone there, like, did not believe that that was a 19-year-old boy. They saw it as a demon, as a beast. Kind of reminded me of, what's that movie? When he has like a million personalities. Split, that movie. But yeah, I mean, I personally believe it. Like, I typically don't really believe in ghosts, but I don't know, maybe demonic possessions happen, like demons, because that video in the beginning of him talking and being possessed is so scary, and it's so crazy. And I mean, yeah, like, why would he want to kill Alan though? Like, he had so much going for him. He was 19, he was getting married. Like, why would he just want to kill him if it wasn't because of being possessed? Like, it is super scary. Like, obviously Ed and Lorraine have seen some shit, so they must believe, like, they obviously believe in it. But yeah, I don't know, I'm always torn when it comes to, like, believing in ghosts. But I do think this story, I do believe, and I am glad that he got convicted of manslaughter. It's a great win and a great historic thing that you can say that you were possessed. Like, in the rare case that that does happen, this probably was the only time it was ever used. But I mean, it's good that we're thinking not so black and white, especially in the court system, which is very black and white, guilty or not guilty. It's cool to see a kind of black and white thing, like maybe, just maybe, there were other factors to this. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, I just want to mention, on March 15th, I will be giving away a $10 Amazon gift card. If you like, subscribe, and comment, but make sure your subscriptions are public so I can see that you are subscribed, so I can enter you into that giveaway. And yeah, if you like and comment, it will increase your odds. I'll use a random number generator to make sure it's fair. And yeah, the winner will be announced. I'll message you and I'll give you a prize. I mean, you already had the prize of seeing my dog, but if you want another prize, I will give you that. So yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you again for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next video.